Good day, and thank you for tuning in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. For all of our new listeners and viewers who are tuning in for the very first time, I'm Pastor Pope, and thank you for allowing us to come into your viewing environment. We are here with you, broadcasting live from the FijiWater.com sponsored studio every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time to discuss whatever topics you might like to discuss, whatever issues of life you find challenging or that you find difficult to navigate. You can discuss careers, finances, entrepreneurship. You can discuss marriage, divorce, raising children, blending families. You can discuss marriage and you can discuss dating and relationships. You can discuss any topic that is important to you, and we are always here with you and for you in 3D every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, which is brought to you daily by Fiji Water, Earth's finest water. You may already know that Fiji water comes from Fiji. However, did you know that it is created by nature? It is untouched by man. It starts as a tropical rainfall which slowly filters through layers of volcanic rock, where the water collects in a natural, sustainable artesian aquifer, where it is bottled right at the source, free from human contact until you unscrew the blue cap. Fiji Water, Earth's finest water, will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery. And you'll save money at FijiWater.com. This is not just ordinary water. This is Earth's finest water at FijiWater.com. And for those of you who continue giving on the give segment of our app at New Life-Delaware, and those of you that have made a weekly or monthly commitment to support the broadcast by giving on the contribution pages of our websites at NewLifeMinistriesInternational.com and NewLifeInternationalCDC.com, we thank you for your support and for your commitment as we fulfill our commitment to God to be here for you in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. And I want to remind all of our listeners and viewers, of course, I'm trying to make certain that all of our technical issues are resolved, and we are live on Facebook, live on YouTube, and that we are live on RadioFreeNetwork.com. You can go to RadioFreeNetwork.com, click on radio, the drop box will appear, click on the New Life link, and every broadcast will be available to you. And now you can also tune in to our 24-hour internet radio station, WKAP, Faith Empowerment Radio, at RadioFreeNetwork.com/WKAP-Faith. We are now 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You will hear music that will encourage you, empower you, and inspire you to be the best version of yourself as you can possibly become. And you'll be hearing segments that will be added to the radio station also. So we want you to stay tuned in because we're continuing to grow. We have everything in place that we need to have in place. We have all of our licensing done for our music. Everything is completed. So we launched, we are live, and we are ready to continue to expand the broadcast. So enjoy our 24-hour internet radio station. We're excited about what God has done and what God will continue to do. So tune in every day. You can go to quick link. If you need a quick link, you can go to rdo.to/WKAP. And you can, of course, go to RadioFreeNetwork.com. If you're online, go to RadioFreeNetwork.com/WKAP-Faith. I'm going to address a communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you have been dating a guy 20 years younger than yourself. However, your children are not pleased about it, nor are any of your other family members, and you find it very interesting that, it's okay for men to date younger women, but because you're dating a younger man, they are not pleased about it. And you want to know, how do you get everyone to accept him? So, first of all, let me begin by saying this. You're right. There tends to be a double standard in the world about dating. It's fine for an older man to date a younger woman. People tend to look at it differently when older woman dates a younger man. However, those things are changing, but that's neither here nor there. The reality is, it really isn't about dating, it's about relationship. It's kind of like I say about religion versus relationship. You have to decide where it's going. And I'm going to use this as an analogy. Religion has always been present in society since we came out of the barbaric ages. Religion has been prevalent in our society. Okay. Now that we have stated that fact, religion is just a structure. And there's something about the structure, being in church and being in the assembly of the brothers and sisters of the house of faith. But after you get past that, it's all about relationship. And where do you want that relationship to go? So, for us as Christians, you want your relationship with the Lord to continue to grow into this holy matrimony. You want it to grow so that you're married to Christ, for lack of a better term. We spend a lot of time dating. And I have to confess, I don't like dating. What I like is forming relationships, but most people want to term it as dating. And the only thing I'm going to share with you is what the Lord put on my spirit as I was prayerful about your circumstance. You will have to date on a mission. You have to form a relationship based on where you want it to go long term. Your children's concern is that you are dating him just to have fun. Now, I know there's going to be people out there that say, Pastor, we want to have fun. Well, we don't want to waste time, the time that God has given us. Now, I understand when he's 20 years younger, when you're 80 and he's 60, well, let me rephrase that. When you're 60, when you're in your mid 60s, he'll be in his mid 40s. And the reality is, it may not be that noticeable. Right now, it's a little more noticeable, but when you're 80 and he's 60, it'll be noticeable again. But that has nothing to do with what people think. That has to do with what's best for you, what's best for your own emotional well-being. So it's very clear that you're dating for fun right now. And that's what your children are concerned about. They don't want you spending your time dating for fun when they want you to be in a relationship, develop a relationship, hopefully marry someone that you can grow old with and that you can spend the rest of your life with. Not just having fun. But now, your question was, how do you get them to accept them? That shouldn't be your concern if you're doing what you want to do. It shouldn't be your concern that they accept him. Shouldn't be your concern that your family accepts him. Because you don't care what other people are thinking. So why would you concern yourself about what they're thinking? Except they're thinking that you're going through a midlife crisis and that you're just trying to have fun with someone young, but it's not going anywhere. And that's their concern for you, is that it's not going anywhere. And eventually the heart does matter. And eventually you'll get attached. And then because he's 20 years younger, he will eventually go on his way and you'll be left by yourself. And their concern is your emotional well-being. So you've got to take that into consideration when you think about what they're saying. Their only concern is your emotional well-being. They're not concerned about whether or not you're dating somebody just to have fun. But the question is, what's the void you're trying to fill with just having fun? Why is it that it's not important to you at this point to develop a relationship with someone? So I'm going to go a little further with this because I was prayerful about this and God showed me in that secret place of your life. Your issue is you only want to have fun because you're afraid that you would get into a relationship, which then the significant other would want to get married, and because you are set in your ways, you don't want to have to compromise. You don't want to find it necessary to take someone else into consideration. But the question you have to ask yourself, is it worth taking someone else in consideration now at this point in your life so that when you grow older, you will have someone who will take you into consideration? That you'll be able to have a happy life, a long-term relationship, marriage, that will fill your spirit. That has to be important. And that has to be important to us all. I'm not sharing this with you because of the stigma of society. I'm not even going to debate the differences between an older man dating a younger woman or older woman dating a younger man. None of those things. Those are all things, ways of the world. Those are all the ways that the world teaches us that we should live and we should observe. It's society. But the reality is that everything in society is covered in the Holy Bible. Everything that society does today is covered in the Holy Bible. Everything that, because man has never changed. So everything, and let me rephrase that. Man hasn't changed because man is still man. Our perspectives may change, they may vary, our personalities may vary, but everything is covered in the Bible. So we know society is going to try to go against most of what the Bible has to say. Because the Bible requires us to live a disciplined and structured life. And the reason is because discipline, the root word for discipline is essentially disciple, which means we'd have to follow Christ. And then you have the structure, which once again adheres to the word that says God is not the author of confusion, but of peace. God is a God of order. So we do everything decent and in order. Having said that, society goes against all of these things. No one said that a younger woman can't date an older man, and nothing says that an older woman can't date a younger man. The question is, why? What's the purpose? What's the mission? You could be dating someone who's 20 years younger than you that has an old soul, that really is just interested in having a long-term relationship. Maybe they're not interested in raising children from birth to adulthood. Or maybe they feel that they've missed that window. So they're willing to, they desire to date someone who's more mature, older. There's a lot of varying factors. But once again, the Bible covers all of those things. So we have to make certain we're trying to line up our lives with the Word of God and not be concerned about what anyone else is thinking, what anyone else's opinion might be. However, you do need to know that the reason your family is concerned is because and your children is because they think you will end up by yourself. And that doesn't appeal to them because they know they're not always going to be present to be able to take care of you. So that's the only reason they're concerned about that. And that's not a bad thing, because most children their ages aren't even considering what their parents' lives are going to be like 20 years from now. They're so busy focused on themselves because it's a self-consumed society. So you're blessed to have children and family members who are concerned about that, not so much about him, because they don't really think he's going to be around long term anyway. They're more concerned about you, and that's the problem. They don't think he's going to be around long term. So that's the reason you're getting the feedback that you're getting, and that they're really not pleased, nor does the family accept him. But you can encourage them to be courteous, because there's nothing wrong with any of us being courteous to someone else that comes into our presence. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. So if you are not currently a T-Mobile customer, you may call or text on the T-Mobile caller text line at 267-992-1424. We will move you into our queue so that you may become a T-Mobile customer and experience America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. Taxes and fees are included in your bill, and if you auto pay by attaching a credit card to your account, you will receive a discount on your monthly bill. At T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you have been in a relationship during the last 4 years, 2 before COVID, and now 2 before COVID and 2 during COVID. Now after COVID, you are ready to get married. However, your significant other says that he is still not ready. So let me say this. I've heard this from a couple of people recently about relationships that should have led to marriage, have not led to marriage, and they're concerned about it. So let me just say this to you. At the end of the day, you have to realize that we are coming out of this pandemic, and it's been a process of coming out, just reopening everything, getting everything back in, organized everything back in place. It's been a process. The reality is that your significant other has decided this has just bought him some more time. The process of coming out of the pandemic has brought him some more time. You're going to have to decide what you want. And you're going to have that conversation with him. You're going to have to explain to him that you are not going to wait around forever to get married. Now, this is going to take me into another communication, but I'm going to walk you through this. You see, it's important to have conversations. So you two really are not destined to be married. Now, I don't want to get ahead of myself because this is real similar to another communication, but here's the reality. You're not destined to be together because you had no plan to be together. You got into a relationship a couple of years before COVID hit. You remained in the relationship during COVID. Another 2 years have gone by. Those 2 years have been a blur for most of us. A lot has occurred during that time that we've kind of missed. I had a moment last week when someone I know, I watched him get married. Well, I remember when he proposed to his wife. I remember when they got married. I remember when they went on the honeymoon. And then I remember when they purchased their home. I remember when he told me that she was expecting their first child. They had a child. And then I remember when they had the second child. So the children were 3, almost 4, and 1. Then COVID came, and when we talked the other day, well, actually 3 and 1. When we talked last week, I should say, we were talking about his family, and I said to him, I said, yeah, I said to my wife, man, I've known you a long time, and I've watched you go through all of those experiences of life, and you've got a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old now, and he said, Pastor Pope, they're 5 and 3 now. And it reminded me that for 2 years, we've kind of gotten tunnel vision into just working through the pandemic, that time has passed and things have changed, and we're processing all of this. Well, your significant other is using that process to buy himself more time, because he's really not destined to be married to you. And the reason is because you two you're not equally yoked. You have no plan for the future. You're just in a relationship. And the reason I wanted to walk through that is because we all have to get over the fact of these last 2 years. We've got to bring ourselves back up to date and say, I've got to move forward. You've spent 4 years in a relationship that's not going anywhere. And if it were to go somewhere, look, when I say that, meaning if it were to go someplace, it would last for a short period of time. You would have invested more time, and it would still come to an end, because you're not equally yoked. You have no plan for the future. After 4 years, you have no plan for the future. The two of you haven't developed a plan. Now, you have listened to the broadcast. You're not an God allow me to see in that secret place. You're not an everyday listener, but you're a periodic listener. So you tune in when you tuned in during the pandemic, but you weren't with us prior to that. Then you found out about the broadcast, you started watching. If you don't have a meeting, you tune in during the day. You're not someone that goes back and reviews the archives. And I'm just keeping it real with you. We hope that you will start doing that if you're not online to listen during the day, because we don't want you to miss anything. So you started writing a 7-year plan because you heard me talk about it, but you didn't finish. He has no 7-year plan. So how can you walk together unless you agree? Now you might say, well, Pastor Pope, we'll get there someday. It's been 4 years. It's been 4 years that the two of you have been together, and he's telling you now that he's not ready. So we've come out of the pandemic. We're coming out. We're processing our way out now. And he still has no plan. I want to say to you both, because this is good for your lives, it's time to decide that you're going to go your separate ways and build a life for yourselves. Both of you have to write a 7-year plan so that you're prepared for the next person, the person that God has assigned for your lives. let's try to live this life and when I say the right way, the most effective and most efficient way that we can maximize the success of life, that we can maximize our quality of life. That's what we've got to focus on doing. At this point in our lives, we've got to do better. You know the old adage, when you know better, you do better. We just got to do things better. We've got to do things differently. We can't keep doing things the same old way and expect different results. We've got to do things differently that will ensure that we have good success and that we maximize that success. So we want to maximize the time that God has given us in all of our lives. Those 4 years you'll never get back, but you enjoyed them while you were together. Now you've got to move on, both of you. Really, and sometimes I know that's hard for people to hear, but the reason is because God has something appointed and someone appointed for each of you. It's just not each other. And then you can begin to build a great quality of life with someone else. But you're going to have to let go and let God. You're going to have to let go of what you have now and let God work in your life. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by Charles Tyrwhitt, located in London, the UK. They also have stores in New York, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and at the King of Prussia Mall in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. So if you're in any of those areas, stop in at their retail stores. They have everything a man could possibly need: shirts for men, ties for men, suits for men, and accessories. If you're not in any of those areas, you can order from Charles Tyrwhitt at ctshirts.com. They will ship and deliver right to your front door in an appropriate period of time. And The White Company, located in London, the UK. They also have a store on Fifth Avenue in New York. So if you're in New York, stop in at their retail store. They have everything that you could possibly need: home goods, clothing for men, women, and children. And if you're not in New York, you can order from The White Company at thewhitecompany.com. They too will ship and deliver right to your front door in an appropriate period of time. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers, and I'm going to begin by saying this. You mentioned that, we always have health and wellness every month, and for all of our listeners and viewers, normally the first Thursday of every month we have with us Rebecca Buba, licensed and registered dietitian and nutritionist, BeccaTheDietitian.com, who is with us on the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. Now, due to travel schedules and due to business schedules, Becca was not with us on the first Thursday of this month. That was due to my schedule. And for this week, she's actually not available. That was due to her schedule. But these schedule adjustments may occur. She will be returning and be back with us hopefully later this month. And when I say returning on the broadcast, she will be with us on the broadcast probably next Thursday, but we'll be blessed to, not next Thursday, but the following, one of the next Thursdays coming up this month. And if not, and then repeat with us the first Thursday of next month, but we know that she will be with us. It's just a busy time for everyone, and we're thankful for our licensed and registered dietitian and nutritionist. But your question was about, you want to prepare yourself for having a child. And so I want to say this to you. There's specific things that you need to do. And I'm going to have you tune in tomorrow because I'm going to run out of time, and I want to make sure that I address that. So just tune in tomorrow. I'm going to give you information that's going to help you prepare your body, mind, and spirit for the child that God is going to bless you to birth. Today's Daily Divine Direction broadcast 3D has been brought to you by Fiji Water. A taste of paradise will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money.